Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We got a small 4-game slate here on this Thursday night for you guys. As always, there's plenty of injury news, COVID, health, and protocol safeties as well, players in and out of that. So make sure you are staying on thelines.com, playpicks.com, and getting all that injury news all the way up to tip-off to make sure you get those bets in correctly. Nate does have a great article up on playpicks.com today with some best bets and player props for you. And make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page, as we got a couple other videos up for you today, including that player props video we love to bring you each and every weekday. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for you.
Yeah, we got the Warriors in an immediate rematch with the Nuggets. These teams played on Tuesday. Denver walked away with an 89-86 win in a very gross result. Right now, Dubs are -4 at Denver. They opened around -6, but people are taking the points with the home team there. And the total has been rising a little bit despite that low total in the first meeting. It is at 214 right now. 3 other games on the slate here pre-New Year's Eve. We got Cavs +3.5 at the Wizards. Cleveland lost Darius Garland and lost a game in New Orleans that we thought they would win with him. The Bucks are -14 at Orlando. They just covered that spread in a recent matchup with Orlando, so why not again? Sixers +4.5 at the Nets, who could get Kevin Durant back in the lineup tonight. Total rising there from 219 up to 221 at the moment, and we will break that one down in our other game show today. With the Dubs here, I mean, that 89-86 result is a fluke to an extent. They shot 16 for 31 from the line as a team. They shot 10 for 32 from deep, 20 turnovers, and only 15 bench points because they didn't have Jordan Poole, our bench leader, who is coming back tonight after resting an extra couple days to get his conditioning up after spending time on the COVID list. So when he's playing, the Warriors score about 5 more points per game, 111.8, and their pace rises considerably from 94.8 to 98.8. Now that the exact opposite happens when Draymond Green sits. Their pace drops in the other direction, and their offensive rating drops. Their defensive rating rises. So that's why we did expect more points than that, certainly on Tuesday. A little bit tentative on the over in general here until we see how sharp Poole looks, because I don't know, can he just carry a second unit? But what I do think that the Warriors are going to win here. I don't think this is going to be the first time all season they lose back-to-back games, even though they're missing Draymond, because Denver's just so thin. I mean, when their bench is out there, when Jokic is sitting, they have the worst net rating in the league. And they're no longer this defensive juggernaut at home at all. In fact, they've lost 4 of their last 5 at home and given up 116 points, giving up 41% from 3 and the most triples per game, like nearly 17 triples. So Steph, who had a relatively quiet game on Tuesday, but is still averaging 32 points per game and with a 36% usage rate in his last 5, still burning Denver to that same tune over 5 meetings. His props are too low for me. That's where I'm looking. You look at his numbers after a loss this season. In their first 4 games following a loss, Steph goes for 28 combined threes in those games, and Denver's ability to not guard the 3-point line is concerning. You can get +125 on him hitting 6 threes. You can get just straight up Steph to score at least 28 points, which is 6 below his average against Denver recently. And you can then look at Steph 30 points in a win, which is about +250 at FanDuel, because I do think that Golden State's going to find a way to get past just the Nikola Jokic's, which that's all they are at this point. If Monte Morris and Austin Rivers might not play, if Aaron Gordon has to sit with that hamstring, he's pretty much doubtful tonight. I just don't know where else the Nuggets can turn. They managed to muck it up and win that one in Golden State, but I don't think they have enough offense to hang with the Dubs now that they're getting closer to full strength.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, my initial thought, especially after that game the other night, was, well, don't ever pick the Warriors ever in any way when they don't have Draymond Green. But I don't think that that's totally fair. I actually looked at the game a little bit more deeply, and I really mostly watched that the second half. And I watched spurts of the first half, which was really bad. But if you watch that game, what the Dubs were doing on defense was acting like they still had Draymond Green, and they were leaving guys, they were trying to double Jokic, but leaving guys wide open. There wasn't enough, wing defense either, with a bunch of guys out once again for the Dubs in that game to really fly around and handle that. And as a result, the Nuggets were moving the ball really well in the first half and making a ton of their shots. You look what happened in the second half. The Dubs changed their defense entirely. They started pressing. They stopped playing that drop defense and letting Jokic have so much room. And then I believe there was 3 players that had more than 1 field goal in the second half for the Nuggets. So everybody else had 1 or less field goals for them made in that second half, because that defense just tightened up the way it did for the Dubs. And I think that's a little bit more illustrative of what you're going to get in this game from Golden State. Both of these teams, when it comes to the Dubs on the road and the Nuggets at home, especially as of late, we're talking under City, right? For the Dubs, 4-11, I believe, to the over when they are playing on the road this year, and the Nuggets 6-8, so at home against that total as well. And as you mentioned, their defense has definitely risen a ton at home, as opposed to what it was at the beginning of the season, where we went, whoa, this team at home is the best defensive team in the league. Obviously, a lot of injuries have to do with the fact that that's not going to be the case for them anymore, and they've definitely, receded a ton from that standpoint. But I think tonight I'm still feeling under, despite the fact that I do agree with you that Steph should be going off tonight a little bit more, especially than last night. Once again, that second half for the Dubs the other night was a a different game entirely, and Steph started shooting a lot better, going 4 for 5 in the fourth quarter from 3-point there. And as you mentioned, that Nuggets defense at 3-point defense at home is horrible, especially as of late. And look, it's to be expected. We got to give them their due when you don't have the entirety of your team in. Monte Morris questionable now, Austin Rivers questionable, Aaron Gordon questionable. Add that to the litany of guys that they're missing already, and there's just a ton of their depth is depleted, especially on the wing, and I don't think you can expect that same level of shooting from them. So in totality, I'm going under on this one. It starts at about 214 right now. I would consider teasing that up and teasing the Dubs down. Draymond Green technically could play. As we mentioned at the top of the video, you want to stay on the lines.com, playpicks.com, as guys are coming in and out of health and safety protocol hours up before game time. They're going in, they're coming out, and it's not, it's not necessarily like they're adhering to normal protocols where it's like, well, about 45 minutes before game time, we know exactly who is and who isn't playing. It's like we don't really know up to the minute at this point. So you really got to stay on that to see what happens. If Draymond plays, all those lines are going to shift towards Golden State. If Aaron Gordon and those 2 other guys, Monte Morris and Austin Rivers, don't play, also going to shift to Golden State. So I think you just get it now and maybe tease it down, like I said, so you can at least get that over teased down a little bit too. Take that at about 210.5, depending where you find it, maybe even 209.5 on that total, over that, and then the Dubs to win by about a pick 'em. I would feel really good about that one. And then, as you mentioned, hit those Steph props as well, because I think he'll be firing tonight.
So you want to tease it down for the over? I thought you meant tease it up for the under. Okay.
I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I did. I apologize. That's exactly what I meant. I totally said that wrong. Tease that up to get that under
218.
Yeah, I don't like these points tonight. I know the defensive rating for Denver has been shit, but I still don't like that the total points tonight for sure.
Which is consistent. I mean, these teams have now gone under in 5 straight. Most of them not anywhere near as low as this last meeting. Most of them around that kind of 218 number. So yeah, I would feel more comfortable if you can tease it up. I would consider just taking the Warriors team total to go over, though, despite their struggles on the road. I just think the way this team responds when they lose, especially the way Steph responds, I mean, that's where I'm putting my money tonight, is just on Steph Curry. And that's been smart money the last few years. And there's not really much else to say about that. I mean, the Nuggets are playing with more pace recently, which is beneficial. I mean, there are some – despite that, they've gone under in 4 straight. It's really strange. They went over in 13 of 14 games, and then they've gone under in 4 straight. Yeah. Despite giving up all that production, they haven't played at home much, but when they have, they've been just getting lit up. on the perimeter. I mean, they're just so shorthanded out there that it makes a lot of sense. So really, I'm just sticking with the Steph props if I'm betting this game. I do like your idea, though, to get Warriors parlayed with that under. I mean, I would just consider that straight up if it continues to climb at 214, 215, because these teams are only averaging about 105 points regardless of venue. And then, as you mentioned, when the Warriors go on the road, they score a lot less. And when the Nuggets, over the course of the season, the Nuggets at home are really not allowing a lot of points at home. Recently they have, but in this matchup, they've found a way to muck it up at times. They know that's how they have to try to win. And so 7 of the last 8 meetings with the Warriors have gone under because of that approach.
Yep, 100%. And like you said, the reason the game went under in this last one, pace drops when Nikola Jokic is not only your focal point of your offense, but your offense entirely. You've got to move a little bit slow as he lumbers up and down the court for sure. So I think that'll help us too with that total there. But I think in the end, I think I do feel more comfortable about Dubs. I do like that money line parlay, but I'm not totally scared of 4 points when you've got guys chucking threes to the extent that you will see from the Dubs tonight. So that is all the time we have for this one. It is a very small slate tonight, so make sure you are staying on thelines.com, playpicks.com, checking out who's coming in and out of these lineups for the 4 games we have tonight. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page as well so you can check out the other couple videos we have for you today, including that player props video. And until we see you next, happy betting.